So I've gotten a few folks that have asked about what business they should be starting right now in this situation that we're in. We're in, dealing with the coronavirus. We're dealing with recession. So what is the best business that you should get into? And my answer is probably more emphatically private equity today than it was in the last any time in the last decade, because right now is the best time to get into private equity. It's why, as we were getting into a recession before we thought that we were gonna hit it this fast. Coronavirus just expedited things in a huge way and multiplied them in a huge way. As Grant Cardone likes to say, the coronavirus 10x the situation. So it's interesting. We saw a lot of people that were moving into private equity, Vanguard in a big way. A lot of the investment banks, a lot of the hedge funds that have been around and only focused on trading, like SAC, started a private equity fund. And so a lot of the reason that a lot of those bigger players were moving in, and the reason that I think it is a big opportunity is that it inherently does well in a situation that like what we're in right now. But even if you were in it before, it protects you. If you're in a hedge fund and things go down and there's kind of day-to-day pricing, it's like you have no choice. Like either the stock's going to go up or go down, and your portfolio on a daily basis is fluctuating. As you get into private equity, the nice thing is there's these long time horizons. 5 years or sometimes 10 years is really where you want to be. But you've got this long time horizon to make it through the ups and downs, and people aren't day to day pricing what's the value of my portfolio. It gives you the ability to benefit during the downturns and have a kind of time period where you're getting things very cheaply. And then in the good times, you're able to increase profits. And there's a degree of control that comes with that. One of the things that I love is that in a down period, unlike other types of assets, we're able to have control over a lot of different levers. There's some deals where it makes sense. All right, we need to cut back employees or cut back advertising as much as possible. In other deals, there are opportunities to grow and take advantage of low cost of ads. There are situations right now where even Facebook is giving a big stimulus package of $100 million to small businesses to do ads on their platform. So you can take advantage of those, whereas if you're in a stock portfolio, you don't have those opportunities. Now, why a fund as opposed to a particular business is that you've got this portfolio of assets, and some of them are going to get killed and nailed in a situation like this. Now, if you start a business or you own a business that happens to be in that category, because who saw Corona coming? The average business owner, both online and offline, there are a lot of them that are being affected by this in a negative way. And a lot of them that just won't make it through. A lot of them that are going to go out of business are going to could burn through all their savings just trying to pay the bills during this period and have to shut the doors. And if you happen to own one single business and it falls in some category where something happens out of your control and now you're out of business, or you're losing money, that will stink. And it's the reason that I preach you have to have diversification. And the best way to have diversification is through a private equity fund. That is the way, the only way really to protect yourself. There's no other way to protect yourself, especially from the unknown. Last year, this was completely unknown. You have people like Ray Dalio, who, just is absolutely brilliant, completely predicted that we were about to hit a recession, built trades around it, and was off just by a little bit, was off by a month, and didn't know it would be this bad, and didn't see Corona coming. And so he knew, like, he literally was talking about, hey, this is about to go down. We're prepared. We've made these trades, and still his fund has lost billions because he didn't do it the right way. So no matter who you are, you're not going to be able to say, oh, what's the best business for me to do based on some particular situation, because the the world being in a quarantine is not something anybody could have predicted. So the only way to protect yourself is that diversified portfolio, and we've seen it. We've definitely had the deals that are in e-commerce and can't get the product from China. We've definitely, on the other end, had deals that have benefited hugely from this as well. And one instance is in the toilet space, where we are selling a bunch of bidets. So you've got this situation where if you've got a portfolio, it is diversified, then you can benefit from this whole thing. And that's why I think that it's important to not be thinking about what's the best business. It is, how do I build a hedged and protected portfolio of a lot of businesses. And in my case, and I'm really just putting a small amount in a lot of those businesses, so that I'm protected. And I think the other part of this is micro private equity in particular. I think everybody thinks, oh, let me do bigger and bigger deals. And the downside is, if you're in those big deals and the market goes against you, all of a sudden you've lost a ton of money, as opposed to being diversified across a lot of smaller deals, which takes more work, it's more headache. There are going to be a lot of things to deal with. But in those micro deals, you're going to end up being a lot more protected from those big downturns. So that's the why behind this. Some of the things that I see coming up and things that you can take advantage of is, obviously, there are less buyers out there, and they're going to continue to be a lot less buyers out there for the foreseeable future. And what that means for us is, there's a ton of opportunity. We're going to be able to buy deals. We're going to be, there's a lot of my clients and testimonials that talk about no money down deals, and some of the really cool things we were able to do in the past. And that hasn't been as easy when everybody's got money, everybody is paying top dollar, even if it makes no sense. And so you're competing really against dumb money. And so that's what's been in the market. There's been a ton of dumb money. And this gets rid of the dumb money so that people that know what they're doing and haven't just like read a book or haven't watched a couple videos, and now they think that they're ready to buy a business, and you end up competing with that guy, and the seller's like, oh, well, we have a full price over ask offer at all cash. And you're like, what? Like, who's doing that? It's like, now those are the dumb people that when the economy's great, they're out there. And, the great thing is Warren Buffett says is, when the wave goes back out to sea, you see who's really been out there naked and unprepared. So that's what's happening now, and they're involved with a lot of folks that are trying to scramble and figure things out. But it is creating opportunity as well, especially for I was talking to a buddy of mine I've known for 20 years, and he reached out. It's like, yeah, it's time for me to work with you. And I was telling him, it's like, man, you couldn't have picked a better time. This is the time. So less buyers out there. There are lower interest rates. There are going to be lower interest rates, and at the same time, a ton. It's one thing to have lower interest rate, but there's no money to even borrow. But in the stimulus package, there's not just lower interest rates, there's money specifically going to SBA, going to SBICs, just tons and tons of money where they're like, hey, you only get access to this money by lending it to small businesses. Guess what? That's us. Another reason why you want to be in the micro space and not trying to do larger deals. So we want to get access to those lower interest rates. That's going to increase our returns, and that's a really cool thing. There's a side benefit to the interest rate that is also great for private equity, and that is that people are going to be earning less return on their money. So in general, people are going to be getting a lower than average interest rate or return on their money. And so that lowers their expectation of what they expect you to pay them. And so you also get that capital cheaper and with better terms. The other thing I mentioned a little bit ago is the stimulus package from Facebook, but you also have the stimulus package from the government. They're going to do everything that they can to push things for people that are doing deals internationally. I think a lot of those same things, even if you're not necessarily going to benefit directly from a stimulus package. It's looking at, when people are talking about $1 trillion being spent around, that money is going to have an impact worldwide. And the same benefit, even more, the benefits are in the international spots where there just aren't going to be no buyers. So you're going to have control of the deal. But you've got stimulus packages from the government, you've got stimulus packages from Facebook, and hopefully they'll be a leader and there'll be other people that follow in their footsteps and provide those kinds of stimulus packages to small businesses. In the Facebook case, we're going through the process to access some of that capital. We're also at the same time, the ad rates are cheaper. So you buy a business that maybe hasn't done ads. That's been one of the old school strategies of, okay, we got this business, they get all their business through SEO, or they are doing ads but only on Google, and then you can come in and figure out, oh, okay, let's add Facebook to that. That adds a whole new income stream to the business. Now you've not just got that company at a discount because the business is, because of the situation that we're in right now, there are no buyers, but now you've got it a further discount because you're able to grow that business. You're able to instantly improve that business. So when you can grow that business with ads, and the ads are cheaper, improves your margin, but it gives you a lot more room to be able to test it out. So back literally just a few months ago, when ads were at the highest that they've ever been in history for online ads, it was a tougher strategy to pull that off. You couldn't just say, oh, I'm going to go and try to test this. It's like, man, you're eating into your bottom line. As you do that now, it changes everything. So the things that you should be doing right now, now is the time to push those long horizons. I wouldn't be putting together a fund and saying, oh, I'm going to give you returns in 2-3 years. Who knows how long this thing's going to last? Even in my past, I really looked at 5-year horizons. I'm going to be pushing that out to, really preferably 10, but at least 7, 8, 9 years. So it's going to have these longer time horizons. You want to be able to ride this thing out and then get as much benefit out of it and not be in a rush to exit. That's one of the big mistakes I made early on, and one of the things that I want to save you from. The other thing is to start planting seeds now, letting people know, hey, here's the opportunity that I see in the market. And that'll tell you where the investors are. If somebody actually wants to engage in that conversation, that could be a potential investor. But outside of all this, if you're somebody who wants to start a private equity fund, be sure to reach out. We can help. Hit us at acechapman.com, and we'll be happy to help you out with that process and maybe even partner. So thanks for checking out the video. Be sure to subscribe if you're not. More private equity related info, news, and education coming soon. And comment with your questions, thoughts on this video.